Okay, let's unbox this baby. Nice package. Look at that. Full instructions at the back. Let's do this. Look at that. Stickers. Who doesn't love stickers? Cool. Warranty card. All their little product brochures. Got plenty of cool stuff over here. Analog delay. Echo, man. Nice. Instructions. And there you go. Comes in a beautiful case. Looks nice. Premium stuff. Open it up and that's the transmitter and this is the receiver. The big problem here is if these are not charged, I'm screwed, but let's check it out. Woohoo! Well, they have a bit of charge, I'm guessing. And double USB-C charger. And most importantly, do not eat this, kids or bass players. It's not good for you. The guitar industry as a whole is really weird. The way I see it, it's one of the only industries where consumers praise and want products to be made in exactly the same way with exactly the same materials as they were made 50, 60, 70 years ago. As a whole, are we just averse to technology and progress? So that's my question to you guys. Is there room for innovation? Can you imagine the car industry being exactly the same as it was 60 years ago? No. So why do we do this as guitarists? One area where I think there is a lot of room for improvement is this. You know what? They're just a major pain in the ass. But is there anything better? Today, guys, we are reviewing the XVive A58 wireless guitar system. You may be thinking, that's not very exciting, is it? There's tons of these out on the market and they cost like 20 bucks. Well, on paper, what XVive promised with this guitar system is a professional sounding wireless system that takes all the same technology as the super high-end ones that your favorite rock stars use live, but at a fairly affordable price. So let's find out if they can keep these promises. Oh, and before I forget, XVive did send me out this product to review, but in no way did they ask me to say something or not say something. So all the thoughts are my own and I've marked it as a sponsored video. No monkey business. I've got to say, starting out, although the wireless technology has been around for ages, I'm still a bit skeptical in terms of us normal players, whether in the studio or in your home, whatever, because every single of the kind of cheapish or affordable products I've tried has always added a little bit of latency, never really got there. It was just more of a pain in the ass to charge all the time. And so using a jack was just easier. But hopefully this might be different. As you saw in the unboxing, I think overall the packaging looks nice. As always with my reviews, I also like to spend a few seconds talking about the construction. There's not a lot to talk about here. One thing I can say is that they already feel a lot more solid than the kind of affordable ones you can find on Amazon or wherever you buy your affordable gear. The weight is really good. USB-C, that's always very nice to see. So it's a easy product to charge. And overall, just the look, they look a little bit sleeker than what I've been used to. Spec-wise, let's start with the battery life, because it's a really important thing for these kind of receivers. Well, it says about 5 hours of continuous use. So if that's the case, that's really, really good, because I really doubt you guys are going to play continuously for more than 5 hours, are you? These are 5.8 gigahertz true diversity wireless with a high resolution 24-bit audio. Now, one of the things that's gonna make or break these is the latency. Look, no doubt, even with a long guitar cable, you're always gonna get an amount of latency or signal loss. These guys promise to have a less than 5 milliseconds latency. If that's the case, I'm not gonna notice it, and I doubt anyone will. And if you do, you're lying. Finally, the last piece of essential spec for these kind of systems is the range. According to the specs, 100 feet. Look, that's really, really good if that's the case. Obviously, it's going to depend on building, the frequencies, blah, 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 all that crap. But if it gets anywhere near that, that's pretty damn impressive. So I think really what we should do now is just plug in. I have no idea how they work, so let's just see how easy it is to use and play a little guitar and move around. What could go wrong? Okay, let's just plug this in. That's a receiver. I got this pretty jet going in here. Let's take the transmitter, plug it in. Now, in theory, it should be as straightforward as switching this bad boy on and switching this bad boy on. Woo! Safe to say that works. Did you see that? I actually didn't have to pair anything. It just automatically did that. No fiddly buttons to press, because fundamentally there are no buttons. If I understand this correctly, what this does is it searches automatically for the best frequency to be on and links up by itself to that frequency. So that's really quite cool. So setup, very simple. You can get any easier. Even an idiot like myself could do it. What it really comes down to though is, does it affect your sound in any way? Does it make you play differently because of the latency, if any? Is it really that minus 5 milliseconds? I don't know. It's quite hard to test, but the only thing we can do is just play a second with it and then compare it to a standard guitar cable. But in order to do that, to some degree, you're gonna have to take my word for it, because YouTube compresses the crap out of everything. So let's give it a try. We've got the XVive A58 plugged in. Let's see if I can see any difference by plugging in my good old guitar cable. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. As usual with my reviews, we've got to start wrapping this up by talking about the pros and cons, then who the XVive A58 is for, and if anyone cares, my final thoughts. So let's start with the pros and cons. The first pro has to be the sound quality. I noticed no different quality in the sound. I was going straight in both cases with the guitar cable and the XVive into my audio interface, and then I was running the Nambrini Audio MP1 plugin, and I could hear no difference between the two. The range seems really, really good. Obviously, these things do depend on the environment, but as far as I can see, and as far as I've tested around the studio here, wow, pretty goddamn impressive. You could go to the toilet and still manage to record those guitar parts. Not bad. My third pro has to be the ease of use. I think the main thing that prevented me from using these kind of systems before is that it's a pain in the ass. You've got to make sure they link together. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. These ones you just plugged in and it was so simple. I didn't even have to press a button. Literally, I just turned them both on. So really good in terms of ease of use. My final pro, I've got to say, is the price. And I know these currently retail around 120 bucks, 120 pounds in the UK, and it may sound a lot for this kind of stuff, but you know what? If you think about the specs, if you think about the high quality components, the latency issue that is not there. Yes, I think it's a substantial investment compared to a guitar cable, but at the same time, if you're gigging, if you're in a rehearsal where you kind of want to move around and you don't have that added pain in the ass of tripping over the guitar cable, and look, we've all done that. These are a reasonable price for the quality. Now, a little disclaimer before we move on to the cons. I can't really comment on the battery life because this is a kind of live unboxing, very spontaneous. I haven't actually played these for too long. It's a first reaction. Maybe I can do a follow-up video or short on the battery life of these, but if they get anywhere close to the 5-hour mark, I think that's plenty. Now let's move on to the cons. The only real thing I can see as being a con is that maybe it could be one of those kind of unnecessary items. For a lot of you, is it gonna make that much of a difference to your well-being or guitar playing? Maybe not, but it's all subjective, it's all personal. It depends what you're looking for in life, and if you don't want that hassle, you don't want that danger of tripping over wires and cables, well, maybe it's for you. Okay, let's now move on to who this guitar system is for. Following on from my last comment on the cons, it's pretty clear. If you are a musician that rehearses or that plays live in a pub scenario, especially because drunken people do tend to trip over wires, or if you're even in your home studio and you just want to keep it a little cleaner, I think this is probably the best product you can get of the kind. It really does bring those professional audio aspects into a consumer world for you and me. Okay, overall, what are my final thoughts? I've got to say, I am pretty impressed with the XVive A58. It's kind of exactly what the other ones weren't to me. The other ones always felt a little cheap. They always felt like they changed something in the sound. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my head, but I never trusted them. This, I think, has a solid professional feel that it won't let me down and will last a decent amount of time. They've just brought all their expertise into making this a consumer product, which just works really well. There's not that much to say. These things are very simple, very reliable. The fact that it chooses the best frequency by itself shows you that they thought about it. So overall, I'm really impressed. This finally, I think, is the first time that something makes me want to get rid of that guitar cable. Very good product. I highly recommend it. As promised, I will link everything down in the description box. And please keep subscribing, like, forward, do whatever it takes to keep that horrible algorithm happy. Please be good to each other. Keep playing guitar, enjoy your life, it's a beautiful world. Let's all be friends and have loads of fun and play guitar.